So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was developing a sense of awareness from having a grateful attitude. Something I've found in the last couple of months, like in my life, is that the work that I'm doing is exploding, and it's bringing up a lot of gratitude for those around me who are helping me to, carry on doing what I need to do. And what I've noticed is the more grateful I am, and at times I'm overwhelmed with this gratefulness, that the more I'm grateful, the more I'm becoming and doing things I never thought I could possibly do. So the ideas of what I thought I actually was are constantly being, challenged. And I thought about this in terms of realizing who you actually are, in terms of realization, and how can we combine something like gratitude to help us develop, more awareness of what we actually are. Because what I'm finding is with gratitude and being grateful for even the smallest of things, we find that what we thought we were and what we were capable of, and more importantly, what we actually are, is constantly being pushed. I remember reading something about the mind, when it's stretched, it can never kind of, in a sense, go back to its normal size. So, to its normal boundaries. And what I'm finding is gratitude allows us to keep extending our boundaries as to what we actually really are. And when we do that, then the ideas and the thoughts, that the feelings and the emotions, the thoughts and feelings and emotions that come up for examination and are seen as, are in a sense not real, can be let go of. And as we let go of that, we see that we're more and more of what we truly are, and less of this story, this idea that we're limited, as if and that somehow there are certain things that we can't do. So again, using a personal example, there are so many things that I'm doing now that I wasn't able or thought I could possibly do, and all of those limiting beliefs were just thoughts that I'd, in a sense, held on to. Now, it leads me on to Sufism, and it leads me on to something called zikr, which is this remembrance. And I remember when I was on the Sufi path, and one of the things that was said to me was that zikr was like, in a sense, a cleansing. So we do zikr, which is remembrance of God, and the analogy that was used to me is your heart is like a mirror, and if it's covered with dust, the more zikr you do, the more you clean that dust, and the more the mirror gets cleaner. So in other words, there's more and more clearing. So gratitude and in a sense not practicing, but allowing gratitude to arise naturally and not trying to fight it, allows us to, in a sense, clean ourselves away from these thoughts, feelings and emotions that are, in a sense, holding us back. Now, there's nothing good or bad about those thoughts. I'm not going to say that we need to get rid of these thoughts as if they're a bad thing, because sometimes thoughts can help us to see more and more of what we are. But by being, in a sense, grateful for just these smallest of things, because we're so conditioned now not to, in a sense, just notice the smallest of things. I was doing a talk yesterday in Devon, and one of the things I talked about was habituation, and it's incredible how we've been conditioned not to notice things. And there was a study where it was conducted where Zen masters were sitting in a room, and they used a clicker, and basically every single click that they heard, they registered it as something brand new. Whereas after 5 or 6 clicks, with people who were just habituated in their behavior, it just became something normal and was no longer registered. It's like when you live in that place and there's just traffic all the time outside. After a while, you don't even hear it anymore. And we use a similar trick of the mind to miss so many opportunities to realize what we actually are. So many things that we could be grateful for, we miss them. And we miss them because we've just become habituated because of our conditioning. And the reality is that if we were to be grateful for every little thing, what we'd find is that we would see that the limits that we are imposing upon ourselves, and this idea that something's missing, or this idea that something needs to be sought, could just come up and can be, in a sense, looked at and safely let go of. And then what we realize is that what we really truly are is something so much more. And in a sense, there is, as I say in my talks, there's a movement from seeking into seeing what we actually are. And that seeing just continues and is expansive when we see that we're so much more. But as we see that we're so much more, gratitude and humility naturally arise. And when they naturally arise, again, it allows us to just constantly clear that which isn't us in order to reveal more and more that which we are.